There's no rest for the weary, as Rams coach Sean McVay joked this morning. McVay and Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp spoke with media at around 8:45 local time to talk about the franchise's first Super Bowl win in Los Angeles. Now remember, for all the theatrics that come with celebrating this Super Bowl, the Rams didn't even have to get on a plane. Maybe that's something Arizona Cardinal fans can look forward to next season with Super Bowl 57 being played in Glendale. But until then, LA is loving this. Whether they're flying over coastal California bluffs or the rims of the Grand Canyon in Arizona, the hope is that healthy California condors out in the wild won't be such a rare sight for future generations. Now, while here at Riviera beers might stay in hand, make no mistake, the fans really are back in full force, but they aren't the only ones excited about their return. Kupp said he feels the team can absolutely repeat as champs next season, but for now, he's going to enjoy the day with family and teammates at Disneyland. In Los Angeles with the Super Bowl champion Rams, Joey Vacca, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News reporter Joey Vacca in our Los Angeles bureau talks to locals about the work being done here at home.
For many in this diverse LA neighborhood, the war in Ukraine is personal. Well, halfway around the world from Kiev, some are taking it upon themselves to help any way they can. St. Volodymyr Ukrainian Church in Los Angeles, like many places around the world, has watched the horrors of the Russian invasion of Ukraine unfold. And under the hue of the stained glass, Father Vasil Sochor has seen the shift in his own church community.
Sometimes they call it the trench faith or the foxhole faith. People become suddenly more religious. People do turn toward God and toward each other.
And while they wait for prayers to be answered, some are taking action.
My feelings were I had to do something. So we have over here clothing on this side, food over here. All of this in the back is that you see is all diapers and infant supplies.
Leon Kaspersky is one of many at St. Volodymyr's helping oversee donations to Ukraine. They're producing combat medical kits for the Ukrainian army to treat injuries on the front lines, along with supplies to send to civilians as well. And Kaspersky has had help. Whether with the local fire department's help transporting supplies or the massive influx of donations and volunteers, the Ukrainian community in Los Angeles hopes to make a resounding impact overseas.
It builds up my faith in humanity. It builds up my faith that there are people that care, that people that are kind.
Donations are just one part of the world's response to bloodshed in Ukraine. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees said more than 10 million people have been forced to flee their homes or leave the country, leading some to open up their homes to help.
One of the things that really, actually, recently really impressed me is many of our neighbors here in Los Angeles call and they want to host refugees. And that's amazing. To trust, to take somebody who is basically on the street, it's amazing.
Even in the face of a life and death struggle, Ukrainians here have been able to stay optimistic.
I was saying this before, Ukraine is the David. And there is a Goliath, that is just a bully. We have the whole world with us. And not only the world, but I think God is with us.
Now, Kaspersky said people can be confident that their donations are in fact getting to Ukraine. With connections with local fire departments, the California Air National Guard oversees the delivery of supplies to the proper Ukrainian authorities. In Los Angeles, Joey Vacca, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News reporter Joey Vacca talked to schools about making those changes across the country. He joins us from our Los Angeles bureau.
At the start of the pandemic, California was the first state to implement stay-at-home orders in response to COVID-19. Well, the state's recently lifted its school mask mandate, a contentious move that has some schools going their own way. For the first time since March 2020, public school students in many parts of the state can go to school without masks. Some districts are choosing to keep masks for now, but one LA suburban district is making the change.
From the very beginning, our agreement was to take whatever the public health orders are and do exactly what they require. Don't do less than what's required and don't do more than what's required.
Unlike nearby Los Angeles Unified, where students are still required to mask indoors, Simi Valley is part of the 68% of districts nationwide that have stopped requiring masks, according to tracking site Burbio. State politicians had tried to ban school mask mandates across Arizona, but a state judge deemed the ban unconstitutional back in fall of 2021. While policies differ across state lines, schools everywhere are putting students first.
We took those challenges and we turned them into positives. And so we looked at how can we still support students.
While some will be excited to finally come back to school without wearing a mask, state public health officials still strongly recommended wearing them. The school district echoed this sentiment, but said it will respect all personal choices of both students and staff. Educators like Principal Sean Rumble also learned the opportunity to make an impact doesn't end with instruction.
And teaching is not just about math, science, social studies and English. It's about everything. And so we're trying to help our kids adjust and help them understand, like, these are lessons that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life.
Now, during the pandemic, the Simi Valley Unified School District has worked to provide increased counseling to aid students' mental health, even down to the elementary level. In Los Angeles, Joey Vacca, Cronkite News.
And as Cronkite News reporter Joey Vacca reports from our Los Angeles bureau, the multi-million-dollar face-off for a new CBA is affecting more than just the players and owners.
Since 1962, thousands of everyday people have worked to make games at Dodger Stadium run smoothly. But as the 2022 lockout looms, concession staffer Sylvia Sosa faces a season of uncertainty.
My concern was for also other employees, who are depend on this income, but once again, you can't get what you need unless you're willing to fight.
They aren't at the negotiating table, but stadium workers at every ballpark are being affected. And while canceled games mean missing work, they're willing to sacrifice to lend their support.
We stand in solidarity with the players. They're workers just like we're workers. So yeah, we know that we're not going to be able to work, but we've had our fights here. Now they have their fight, and we stand behind them.
The reach of the lockout doesn't just stop at the stadium gates. Just down the street from Dodger Stadium, Philippe the Original has been serving its famous French dip sandwiches to baseball fans for decades.
And all the businesses that kind of get their seasonal business, they really want games to start as soon as possible.
But while Binder may feel the impact from the LA Dodgers, he knows many others across the country feel the same thing.
So just the effect that it has throughout, from the players and all the way down just to the small little bars and businesses like around the area, it touches kind of everyone.
For now, Manfred has already confirmed the cancellation of the first 2 regular season series. But while players and owners still struggle to reach an agreement, the people of LA, Phoenix, and the 28 other baseball cities across the country can only hope that number doesn't crawl too much higher. In Los Angeles, Joey Vacca, Cronkite News.